shouldn't have. As you probably know, Virginia, we pack a lot into a very, very short session. And in fact, we have nearly 2,000 bills in the 60 days that we're down there. It's impossible for us to do justice to the fact that there's lots of good stuff going on. I don't think I have enough for everybody, so if you can share, that would be great. But what I'm passing out is something that's put together by our Division of Legislative Services that provides an overview of some of the big issues. And so it'll give you a little bit of a flavor of all the different kind of issues that we were speaking about. I just wanted to kind of start, number one, I always learn something new when I come here, and that's why I appreciate the fact that you all put this on. I also wish that I could bottle up Ken Plum and take him along with me. He's fantastic on a lot of issues, but he's been a particularly strong leader on Medicaid expansion. And something that Delegate Lopez said that I think is very important, which is there's been a tendency to demonize empathy. And you saw that with the confirmation process with Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor, where she was accused of injecting empathy in her decision-making process. And that's too bad, because what that simply means is the capacity, whether you agree or not, to step into somebody else's shoes and see their perspective. And I think that's part of the problem we're seeing with Medicaid expansion, is you have people who aren't able to take themselves into somebody else's shoes and see what they're dealing with. I want to touch on really briefly mental health. That's an area where I think we were all able to come together on this year. We did make some steps in the right direction. It's a shame that we are responding to tragedies rather than being able to anticipate these things. These are issues we knew were problems over the last couple of years, and so we need to do a better job of getting ahead of these things. We did get more funding. We were able to get an online registry that's going to be real time. Very importantly, we have put in funding for beds of last resort. What's the real weakness of all this is our jails. I sit on the Joint Commission for Healthcare in Virginia, and about a quarter of the people who sit in our jails today have mental illness. About half of those are serious mental illness. They are not getting the treatment that they need, and we need to be focusing on that area. Human trafficking, as I mentioned, is an area that is of great importance to me, and it should be of great importance to all Virginians. I didn't know until a couple of years ago that Virginia is actually a hot spot for modern day slavery. Because we have a broad international community. We've got I-81, we've got I-95, we've got the Port of Hampton Roads, we've got Dulles Airport. We are actually in the top 10 states of where human trafficking occurs in the United States. It's not a third world issue. It's a U.S. issue. It's a Virginia issue. This is an area where we have been working forward in Virginia and making some big progress. And this year, we were able to pass legislation that allows police to be able to seize any assets that are associated with the act of human trafficking. This is big business for folks. The reason they do it is because of a profit margin, and so we need to make sure that we're taking that profit away from human trafficking. The last one I wanted to end on is consumer protection. Before I was elected to the General Assembly, I was the chair of the Fairfax County Consumer Protection Commission. And one of the things that I do know is that consumer protection issues, and especially things like identity theft, tend to impact those of middle and low income means more than anybody else. Because number one, when you have your identity taken away from you, the fiscal impact can be huge. And I've seen families just absolutely devastated by these things. Over the last couple of years, we've been making baby steps to help everybody protect themselves from identity theft. One thing we did this year that's important, everybody take a look at your driver's license in your wallet. If you've gone into a Target recently, you'll notice that when they check to see who you are or make sure that you're over 21 to buy something, they don't just check it visually like they used to in the old days. They actually scan that. You know what they get from that scanning? Everything that is on your driver's license. And right now in Virginia, there is no prohibition against them collecting that information and using it any way that they can. There was a bar up in New York that used to brag that they got a database with thousands of people weekly that then they could use for marketing purposes. Imagine if somebody got a hold of that database, that information, what they could do with that information in terms of a data breach. So anyways, this year on a bipartisan basis, it kind of snuck under the radar. We were able to get through a bill that prohibits not scanning, but to say if you do scan, you can only use it for the purpose you were scanning it for, and you cannot use it for marketing. I'll just go ahead and wrap up and say once again, thank you so much. A lot of it has been made of the redistricting reform. If you want to get involved, I just want to reiterate, there is an organization out there, and if you go to onevirginia2021.org, it's got great information about how you can actually make a difference. We need to get this done before redistricting in 2021, and with your help, I know that we can do that, and we can have a General Assembly that's more reflective of the values of Virginia in general. So thank you so much for having us.